You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
Black and white sports fans, let's talk about LeBron James and Isaiah Stewart once again. Now, last night we found out that LeBron James is suspended for one game, and Isaiah Stewart of the Detroit Pistons is suspended for 2 games for their on-court incident where LeBron James actually ended up elbowing Isaiah Stewart in the head, and there was blood everywhere. Now, one thing that I did not anticipate that would actually come out of this is any type of racial angle to this. But we are in the era of woke sports, so I guess I shouldn't have been too surprised, but I must admit, I'm pretty surprised by this because Deadspin has now brought in a racial angle to all of this because I guess, they want to show how woke they can be and that they see racism in everything. This is completely insane. So there's pretty much a hit piece out there that they put out there yesterday. Didn't see this. Shout out the Rhodes for actually sending this my way. And I read this. I was like, what? Really? I mean, who in their right mind would think that there's anything racist about this or any type of racial angle to this whole thing, considering that all of the players in this, LeBron James, Isaiah Stewart, and Russell Westbrook, are all black. But you know what? I guess, it shouldn't be too much of a surprise because the whole Kyle Rittenhouse thing, guess what? All the players were white. In some kind of a way, the media made it into some type of a racial angle. So we're going to be diving into that in this video, guys. First, check out blackandwhitenetwork.com for exclusive content and free content over there on the website. Members get free videos over there, 3 different membership plans. You can also donate if you want to donate directly to us, or click the shop tab, get your merch, and we're going to bring it back once again through Cyber Monday. We're going to give you 25% off if you use the discount code USA First. Get your You're No King, Defund the Athletes, Media is the Real Virus, LaChina James, and more. So, over here on Deadspin wants you to take awareness of a racially coded language in this whole thing. Now, folks, I haven't heard anything racial about this whatsoever. But, when you have no evidence of racism, you just have to make it up. So it says here, beware of the racially coded language that will be used when discussing Isaiah Stewart and LeBron James. And honestly, guys, I have heard nothing racial about this from anybody in the media. But let's read this. 17 years and 2 days after one of the most historic events in NBA history took place in Auburn Hills, Michigan, an updated version almost occurred involving the same fan base and team wearing the same uniforms, and Sunday night as we were this close to having Malice at the Palace 2.0 on our hands. By now, you've been aware of what happened inside Little Caesars Arena in downtown Detroit during the third quarter of the Lakers and Pistons game. LeBron James accidentally, hit Isaiah Stewart in the face, causing him to bleed. Stewart was livid and tried everything he could to get to James. It got testy. James and Stewart were both ejected, and Russell Westbrook, because he Brit so much, I called him Russell Westbrook, was issued a technical foul. James and Stewart also both passed on speaking to the media after a game in which the incident fueled the Lakers to a badly needed comeback win. Now, we wait to see what damage will be as fines and suspensions are on the way. Now, we already know, like I said before, LeBron suspended 1 game and Isaiah Stewart suspended 2 games. But it goes on here. It says, however, this column isn't about who was or wasn't in the wrong. I could care less about the fight, the forthcoming punishments, or the game's outcome. This is about warning you about all the racist and inappropriate things that are going to be said and written this week. So this writer here, Karan Phillips, is already putting it out there that people will be racist in the media about this. However, I believe he was flat wrong. I haven't heard about any coded racism messages or anything like that. This is ridiculous. But he goes on, he says, closet racists love nothing more than to be able to use coded language to say what they really think about black people, especially the bit tall and strong black ones that play sports. Don't be surprised if you hear or see words like animal behavior or barbaric, which we haven't heard anything close to that, guys. Someone will definitely take a deep dive into Stewart's past and try to see if he has any character issues, as they'll be curious as to whether his father was in his life or not. Oh, and you can be sure that somebody is going to use the word thug, which is a code word for the N-word. This is ridiculous. This is completely ridiculous. Thug is not a code word for the N-word. This guy is a race baiter, nothing more. But he goes on, he says, we've seen this before. Quote, too many players in the league, those actions and attitudes bespeak kind of a thug mentality, said Bob Costas at the time about the malice at the palace in an old clip from a recent documentary about the event. Midway through the film, there's a montage of white media members operating on the situation, gleefully spewing their hate with reckless abandon. It's like watching Klan members give a free pass to take their hoods off. Oh my God. One man says black players, quote, don't know how to act in a civilized, normal society, while Keith Olbermann labels them as gangster wannabes. For those who think I'm assuming the worst in people, it's probably because they don't have a history of being on the receiving end of what the worst feels like. And while there were no punches thrown or brawls in the stands on Sunday night, everyone was keenly aware of how things could have turned out. Quote, we're back in Detroit too, so flashbacks, Anthony Davis said after the game. But yeah, I mean, the NBA security, their security, our security, coaching staff, even some players did a good job of trying to de-escalate the situation. A season after black players were dehumanized as fans, dumped popcorn on Russell Westbrook, spit on Trae Young, and threw things at Kyrie Irving and Emmanuel Quigley during the playoffs, let's not act like sense has finally become common. And while everyone inside Little Caesars Arena behaved themselves to a point, let's not act like everyone else will follow suit, as the internet is the devil's playground. Over the next few days, Twitter and Facebook will most definitely be full of hot takes about the incident. Some will be blatantly hateful, while others will be more subtle with their approach. Those are the folks that usually consider themselves, quote, allies. And in the media landscape, Clay Travis, Laura Ingraham, and Barstool folks will more than likely have a field day with this. And don't be surprised if Sage Steele, Jason Whitlock, and Emmanuel Acho get in the act too. In case you were unaware, coded language isn't limited to white folks. Black people can weaponize it in an even more impactful way for their own self-interest. On Sunday night, a triggering event took place that made us think about the past. For the most part, the players and fans prove that they learned their lesson. The coming days will teach us if everyone else has. See, this article did not age well. I mean, my goodness. I mean, I cannot stand race baiters. And Karan J. Phillips is a race baiter and race hustler because it gets him clicks. It makes him money. This is insane, guys. Nobody in the media that I've seen has brought up about NBA players being thugs, or this was a thug mentality, code word for the N-word, according to this guy. This is completely and utterly nuts right here. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. There's no racial angle to this whatsoever. Stephen A. Smith called for the NBA to suspend LeBron James, and they did it. Stephen A. Smith, and we know that Stephen A. Smith likes to play the race card. He didn't play the race card in this whatsoever. Nobody in the media that I saw played the race card on this. I cannot stand these race baiters out there, these race hustlers. This is utterly ridiculous. You know, journalism is just purely dead. There's really no journalism left in the media. These guys have an agenda. Deadspin has an agenda to race bait everything. That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and white sports fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to Black and White Sports, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.